From quick stat lines on television broadcasts to that same pitcher's face on a website to ambiguously catchy lyrics from DJ Khaled to incoherent rants from America's sweetheart Charlie Sheen, the win is everywhere. But in this context, it is the apex of competition. It is the all-encompassing word describing someone who performs America's pastime every day for 9 months in a year. And that is the pitcher in baseball. However, does the win accurately judge how good a pitcher is? I don't think it depicts the talent of the athletic elite. I don't think it is cause for people to jeer or cheer a certain player based on their win and loss record. The pitcher is one who players follow, fans revere or detest, photographers capture, and with whom owners anchor a team. However, pitchers are always subject to judgment, and pretty much every athlete is, because they have the privilege of being paid for a physical gift. However, the judgment in this case is coming from inauspicious evidence, and that is the win in baseball. A pitcher receives a win, and don't bother reading all this. This is the MLB handbook from MLB.com. And a pitcher, I'll quote, receives a win if they last pitched prior to the half inning when the winning team took the lead for the first time. So all they have to do is be in the game when their offense scores a run to win the game. Yet that constitutes the basis of judgment for a pitcher. It doesn't really add up. And despite a team's ultimate goal being to win, the win is an antiquated and irrelevant way to evaluate a pitcher's skill level. Now, I know baseball is a game of numbers, and numbers are certainly prevalent when judging a pitcher and analyzing their talent. However, I'm not just bashing the win because my personal athletic career was that filled with plenty of bench-warming disappointment and participation trophies, but because I've noticed a trend of pitchers being egregiously overvalued or undervalued by the average baseball fan. A win is contingent upon a plethora of factors. Prominently, that is players in the field. I'll give you an example. Hisashi Iwakuma, he's a pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. Last year, 2013, he went 14-6. You're gonna have to take my word for this. He's not considered to be one of the best. He's also not considered to be one of the worst pitchers. However, as a pitcher, he needs to depend on his fielders in order to get the win. One of his fielders, Raul Ibanez, was on the Mariners last year, and he's 41 years old. So he's past his prime in terms of agility, in terms of speed, yet he played over 800 innings in left field for the Seattle Mariners. He was the starting left fielder. He had that position. However, a player such as Raul Ibanez is not as competent to play left field as a younger player, a more agile player. Yet still, the pitcher's win is based off of how these fielders do, because they control when they get to the ball. They control where they throw the ball. Raul Ibanez simply cannot field, and that you won't have to take my word for. I'll use some statistics. There's this statistic called UZR, Ultimate Zone Rating. That is a statistic in baseball that measures a fielder's full capability in terms of what balls they can get to, what balls they can't get to, and how many runs they've let up in the year. Raul Ibanez had the worst UZR in all of the MLB last year. So statistically, this man was the worst fielder in all of baseball. More specifically, he let up 19 runs. 19 runs were caused by Raul Ibanez's incompetency in left field. And this is not just an isolated incident. There are plenty more players like Raul Ibanez. They're just simply bad fielders. It's always going to happen, which is why it's not fair to judge a pitcher based on how other players do in the win statistic. To put it in perspective a little bit, 4 out of this Hisashi Iwakuma's 6 losses came within 3 runs. Now, am I going to be the one to say that had Raul Ibanez not let up 19 runs by simply being a bad fielder compared to other players, Hisashi Iwakuma would be regarded as one of the best pitchers in the MLB? No, I'm not going to be the one to say that, because Hisashi Iwakuma is not one of the best pitchers in the MLB, but he is someone who is undervalued because the win statistic is relevant in baseball. In addition to that, there are plenty of statistics that you can use instead of the win statistic. For example, SI-ERA, Skill Interactive ERA. This is a statistic that almost weighs out all of what the fielders do. And there's another one called Fielding Independent Pitching. I'll start with that. Fielding Independent Pitching just uses home runs, walks, hit batters, and strikeouts, therefore only measuring exactly what the pitcher does and takes out everything that the fielders do. Skill Interactive ERA is a little bit more of an advanced statistic, a nuance in baseball that is something, and it's on its way up, but it's not quite as prevalent as Fielding Independent Pitching. In conclusion, I have a request for the casual baseball fan. Though you might be living with a hectic schedule, slightly out of shape, noticing that receding hairline, you're probably more intelligent than the casual fan of any sport, and that is because baseball is a numbers game. And though you may not seem more intelligent because as a staple of your sport you need to spend every minute in the ballpark intoxicated, you are. Baseball is a numbers game and you can understand those numbers. So I urge you to think and interpret beyond what is spoon-fed to you by the media and be a little more like Jonah Hill from Moneyball. Thank you.